So Michael Bowie sent me an email. So he came to me with an idea, and he wanted the exhibition essentially to focus on just this tension, right? Like, how is artistic freedom constrained? So I was all on board for it. I myself am a visual artist. I've never done this on a large scale, so I thought I would be all for the task. Over 80 people submitted work, and we took our time and we listened to each track, we looked at each artwork, and we ended up deciding on 13 visual artists to showcase and 18 musicians.
Man, the reason why I thought about this title, Free Music, The Illusion of Liberation, is because not only are artists faced with this stark reality, there's been laid out this oasis that feels like we're free to do things, free to sell our music, free to move around, freedom of speech. And the veil has been taken off of all of that. But this exhibit, I think, will really bring attention very succinctly. And I really thank Khadija Jahmila for partnering with me right from the start and really kind of, put our mission very succinctly on the webpage that we have.
So you see, free music brings together musicians and visual artists who push back against the myth of creative freedom and the system built on taking from them. In the age of streaming and clicks, their work is everywhere. It's being consumed and it's being shared. But the pay rarely ever matches the labor.
I'm putting a lot of money in still, more than I've gotten back. But the value that I'm getting from it is like I'm self-actualizing. Some people, they self-actualize with, cars. They build cars. And that all costs money. This is mine.
One of the main ways that I make art and sell art is at local art markets. I am able to get a good amount of freedom in creating work I enjoy and also kind of tailoring that a little bit to the audience that I'm selling to. I'm really trying to take advantage of that freedom and use it to develop my own process and artistic voice.
There's a certain humility, and it comes with the challenge of not comparing yourself with others, right? Looking at my peers, for example, had I continued this other path, where, quote, would I have been, or how am I measuring up? How am I not measuring up? And I think that humility of, you know what, I don't work the most glamorous job in the world, but fuck it, I get to do what I love. And that in and of itself is my fuel, so.
just being a skater, and I think it's a very rough lifestyle sometimes. So I'm used to making the most out of nothing. So I know most of my projects that I have, they're not, and a lot with my art in general, I try not to base it around material and more about what I've learned and how I'm applying it. So, especially in this economy, I think it's important to, keep your concept strong and go off of that first.
Keeping a big mind doesn't mean you have to think small about what you're doing. It's just, okay, this is what I want. What do I need? Making your production lists, making those treatments, writing everything down, write it down. Keep an expense sheet of what you're spending on your music. Figure out how to really validate your business so that you can do write-offs. So if something happens that you have to pay for, okay, write it off as a business expense. I really want to move forward with helping artists understand more financial literacy-based tasks and items that they could do to help prevent financial mishaps or unpredictability.
Being an artist has pushed me to minimize expenses as much as possible and kind of cut down on the things that are unnecessary that maybe society says that you might think you need, but maybe you don't need, or I don't need. So I can say for me, I'm probably a little bit unconventional in that I spend as much time as I can living relatively off-grid.
Part of being a leader, not a boss, is also listening to your team and making sure that you know that their needs are met, and make sure everybody else eat before you eat. Or you even sit at the table, everybody else got to have their money, got to have everything straight, and carrying that weight. But all the things become a bit overwhelming. And that's just not even from a music or art perspective, that's society at this point.
I felt like when I was really hustling to make money from it, it took a lot of the joy and the control out of it. And it was kind of a moment where I realized I'm glad that I tried, trying to make a living off of this, but I have a family, so it wasn't feasible. But I'm glad to still be able to pursue music in some ways, because it also makes me better at my day job, because I realize my day job isn't my whole life. Like, music, I think, is my life, but like, I'm not going to be defined by any one thing. So I don't get as upset about work things, because I'm not defined by what I do at my day job. I'm defined, I think, by my music and also my relationships and my community.
Right now, I'm a student at Berkeley College of Music Online. It's my last year. Yeah. Looking forward to graduating, but it's really been insightful. It's really been helpful, because before being a student, I was a mailman, but I was still a musician. I was still writing music, playing and singing, but I was using YouTube for anything that I wanted to know, like outside of my knowledge base. So school has given me like a professional edge that I did not have before, that I'm grateful for.
I do think my idea of success hasn't changed, but I will say, and it's a big if I don't become the mega star that I want to be, I still want to be so successful in music that I'm able to pay my bills and live comfortably.
So when you hear it, approach a new stage in my life. Pain and strife take a toll on your spirit. Was told not to give in when the getting get tough, but I didn't give up, won't fold, never quit in life cold and it's frigid.